Many of us are familiar with images of black people, which are violent images or images of enslavement or some other negative imagery. The black presence, activism, and agency in a different age gives us the opportunity to explore other images of black persons from around that time and shows how they were activists, how they were wealthy, and how they were in charge of their own destiny and how they aided the positive destiny of others. Join us as we explore this exhibition with Father Charles Currid Reynolds, and we talk about some of these images and how they affect how we view ourselves and our history. So, Father Charles, Mr. Ira Aldridge, one of the more fascinating characters in this quite large gallery of characters. He was pretty popular as portraiture went. We've got several pieces in here, but I gather he was widely featured elsewhere as well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he was probably one of the most famous black people in Europe during many decades of the 19th century, because he was an actor. He was a Shakespearean actor, and here we see him in typically dramatic pose as Aaron in Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus, which is the most gory of Shakespeare's plays. And here we see the character Aaron towards the end of the play, where he triumphs, really, because everyone else has died in the bloodbath, and he dies. Plot spoiler, I'm afraid, but his son survives, and you can see this infant son lying at his feet. And I was mentioning earlier about the whole process of collecting, and you know, some of the prints one has to invest a lot of time and money into acquiring, but this was an eBay purchase for about £4.
Oh wow!
I don't know what that is in Barbados dollars, but that's
between 12 and 16, depending on the exchange rate.
Yeah. But I mean, a great bargain.
Oh yes.
And this is
smashing.
Yeah. It's a steel engraving, so you're seeing it's a very precise. You know, the detailing on it is very tight indeed, and we've framed this in hopefully a suitably ornate form of frame for
in keeping with his, I find it actually quite interesting too to see a portrait of a black man bearing arms from that time period, which I think is kind of unusual, really.
He was famous for portraying Othello, but also the other great Shakespearean characters as well.
So very much a lead actor as well.
Very much a lead actor. I mean, he was given titles across Europe, and eventually made it onto the stage of even Covent Garden in London. But he'd come originally from New York. Where as a young man he had appeared on what was called the Negro Theatre, but arsonists destroyed that theatre, and he realised that his career as an actor was going to be limited if he stayed in the States. So he crossed over to Britain in the 1820s, and had a stellar career, and really is the founder of modern theatre in many ways, in that he pioneered a form of naturalistic acting, rather than just standing there and declaiming the lines while you stood in a particular pose. But here you can see in this rendering of him how dramatic his face is. And when for instance in Othello, when he was appearing in Russia and he killed Desdemona, the audience rushed the stage believing that he'd actually done it, because it was so realistic, his form of acting.
The most interesting film. Yeah. And we have a couple more images of him over here, I believe.
So yeah, there's two images here of him in acting roles. And then we have two earlier images from soon after he arrived in Britain. And firstly, this one, entitled The African, was produced for particularly a Christian audience that was campaigning for the abolition and the emancipation of slaves. And he is being depicted here as pious. He's looking to the future. And I think it's really quite telling that his lips are starting to open. He's about to speak. And so really for the audience looking at this image, they're being invited to listen to what he has to say. And of course the pious young lady beside him is attentive and listening. This image was formed out of a painting which just came onto the art market 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and is now at the Bristol Art Gallery. Fortunately, that's been very good. That's gone into a public collection now. And then this slightly later image, so this one is the African, and then this is the Negro. So it's really saying this is a picture of the archetype. And here we see him again. I think this is a dramatic pose of someone whose image was well known from the stage. But when you look straight on at this image, you realise that you are looking up to him. And he is looking towards the future, rather in a similar way to the other image, and he is looking up to heaven. And this way of depicting him with his shirt open and his chest bare is recalling Baroque images of saints, where it's showing their humanity. And I think in all of these images of Ira Aldridge, we're seeing someone of great stature and significance, and this is certainly declared in the imagery.
I'm told that he himself was never actually an enslaved person, and that these portraits with him as a Negro and an African were very much commissioned to help with the abolitionist movement.
Exactly so, and he was sending money back to America all his life for the abolitionist cause. It was very dear to him. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us as we examined and explored the Black presence, activism and agency in another age. If you want to see more of these pictures, learn more about these people, or see some of the other things we have up on our walls in this exhibition, come join us at the Barbados Museum and Historical Society. We look forward to meeting you.